Hello friend, welcome back to my channel. My name is Susie if you are new here, and in this video I'm going to share with you what I would recommend if you are an absolute beginner wanting to learn hand lettering. The first thing that I'm going to show you are these shapes. These are what we call strokes, and these may seem kind of weird and unrelated to calligraphy, but I promise it will make sense. So these shapes are some of the shapes that we can use to combine to draw our letters in brush lettering or hand lettering or modern calligraphy, whatever you would like to call it. There are more strokes that I personally use myself when hand lettering, but these are some of the main ones that we may see over and over again. So starting at the top, we have the downstroke, the upstroke, an overturn, an underturn, a compound curve, an oval, and the last two are loops. So when we are doing calligraphy with a brush pen, we are typically going to draw a thicker stroke when we are doing a downstroke or when we're pulling that pen down towards ourselves. But when we are drawing an upstroke, or when that pen is going away from us and towards the top of the paper, we are drawing an upstroke, and this stroke is going to be thinner. Now, it might seem like you would do this by changing the angle of the pen, but that is actually not the case with these brush pens. We typically create thicker and thinner strokes by applying more or less pressure to the tip of our brush pen. Our pen is still going to be held at like a 45-ish degree angle, but the pressure will change depending on which way the strokes are going. So I'm demonstrating this here by doing a simple straight line down and then a simple straight line going up, also known as the downstroke and the upstroke. But now let's apply this to those simple strokes that make up a lot of the words in our alphabet. So I am showing you this or demonstrating this by using two different colors for different types of strokes. And through this, you will see which strokes are to be thick and which strokes are to be thin. So to illustrate this example, downstrokes are going to be dark blue and upstrokes are going to be this darker pink color. So here I am showing you where those downstrokes kind of turn into upstrokes. Now typically when I'm lettering, I would not lift up my pen in the middle of a stroke like I am with that overturn or that underturn, but this is just for the sake of illustrating which parts of the strokes are thick and which parts of the strokes are thin. But when you are hand lettering, you would typically do this all in one stroke without lifting up your brush pen. And as you can see, I am adding some arrows here, so again, you can see which way I am drawing. When the arrow is going up, that is going to be the upstroke, or the thinner stroke that is shown in pink. But when the arrow comes back down, we are applying more pressure and creating that thicker stroke using the darker blue brush pen. And remember, we're not tipping our pen to the side to get that thicker stroke. We are simply applying a bit more pressure and kind of allowing that brush to flatten out more on the paper and draw that thicker stroke. Our letters are often just simple strokes put together. So as you can see, I'm just adding a couple of strokes together and combining them to create letters. And this goes for many, many letters of the alphabet. This is why more recently in my hand lettering worksheets, I have started breaking apart each and every letter, both uppercase and lowercase, into these simple strokes. Because like I mentioned with my hand lettering style, I do use quite a bit more strokes than these, especially when I am getting into capital letters. But I think that it's really beneficial to at least see the strokes separated so that you can make sure you are doing each stroke correctly before you go and combine them together. So in my newer worksheet sets that have the full alphabet, like the Olivia or the Eloise or the Millie, you will see each stroke and you will have a little bit of practice space to trace those strokes individually by themselves for each letter. But when we are just starting out, these simple strokes can help us get started. So this is the part in the video where I want to show you how to start making it your own. So we've already put these together, and like I said, these strokes will equal some letters. But do we all want our letters to look identical, or do we kind of want to make them our own? If we are all drawing the exact same stroke, then it makes sense that our letters would at least look pretty similar to each other. But by changing up a few things, we can really make our own variations of these strokes and then in turn make our own variations of letters. So here are a few variations that you can do with your strokes to start to make them your own. So first, let's look at our downstroke. We can do a straight downstroke, but we can also do a curved downstroke. We can also do a slanted downstroke. Same with our upstroke. We can do a straight line as our upstroke, or we can change it up a little bit. And I've actually created some free worksheets to help you do this yourself, so I will put those in the resource library that you can find at howtohandletter.com/resource library. So now that we've done a few variations, let's put a few of these together and see what we can come up with. I'm starting here at the top with our A. If we draw a narrow oval and a narrow underturn, we can then combine those together to draw a narrow looking A. And the same goes for our slanted strokes. When we combine a more slanted oval and a more slanted underturn, we can draw this more slanted looking A. But what about a fun-shaped oval? This is totally my thing personally. I love drawing my ovals in kind of uncommon shapes, and I think it gives letters a ton of personality and kind of a fun modern style. So these are 3 very different looking A's, but they're all 3 A's, and they're all 3 using the same type of stroke, but by adding our variations to these basic strokes, we came up with 3 very different and unique looking A's. And the same goes for a Y. Now this is one way that I think you can make lettering look your own, and I think it's just so fun to see how some simple changes can change the outcome so drastically. But I know that it can be hard at the beginning to think of how you can change these simple things. I have some free printable worksheets for you of these basic strokes with multiple different variations for each stroke. I will put these in the free resource library on my website. If you have not yet been to the resource library, you can find it at howtohandletter.com/resource library. This is the place where I put free printable practice pages for you, and there are actually a bunch more already there, but if you would like to find this one, you can find it under the name Simple Strokes and Variations. You can practice each of them by themselves, you can try to create some fun and unique combinations, and see what you can come up with. So again, if you have not been there yet, I will put the link in the description box below, or you can find it by going to howtohandletter.com/resource library. So if you are an absolute beginner, I would highly recommend you start with these worksheets and these simple strokes. These strokes can help you learn how to control that brush pen, to help your muscle memory get the hang of when to apply more pressure and when to ease up, and my hope is that this will become like second nature to you. I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments box below. I will also leave a discount code for those worksheets that I mentioned where they have all of the strokes for each of the letters, and I will leave links for those specific ones as well, because it is not all of my worksheets that have that feature, but it is the ones that I have created more recently, so I will make sure to write that out in the description box below, just in case you are looking for those. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.